Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. It's a fucking shit show. What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. Mood and atmosphere. No, it's fucking garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Yes, that's right. In this video, I want to give you my first impression thoughts on the teaser trailer for Star Wars Episode 9 that has finally dropped. And we also have a title, of course. And obviously, if there's a teaser trailer, there's going to be a title. And that title is The Rise of Skywalker. And the reason why I want to give you my first impression thoughts right now is because there's no doubt that I'm going to watch this trailer another 7,979 times. And, but I wanted to sort of give you my first impression thoughts before I get desensitized to it and the novelty wears off and I start to overthink things, right? Because, you know, as we all know, 9 times out of 10, first impression thoughts are usually your genuine feelings on the matter. So that's why I want to do that. So this is not a video where I'm going to, you know, break down the trailer and go frame by frame or shot by shot. There's plenty of other people that you can go and watch do that. Now, for those of you that are new to my channel, I was a big fan of The Force Awakens. There were a few things in there that I thought they should have done a bit differently, but overall I thought it was what it needed to be, and I quite enjoyed it. I think The Last Jedi, on the other hand, is a pile of dog shit. It's a dog shit show of a movie, and it has nothing to do with 40-year-old fanboy expectations that were not met. In my opinion, there are serious narrative, character, and pacing and development structure problems when we're talking about a 3-act play in that movie. And it's far too intense to go into here, but if you're not new to my channel, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so let's talk about this teaser trailer and my first impression thoughts. Okay, well, here they are. I quite liked it. I thought it was good. Now, it didn't blow me away, but there's a variety of reasons for that. One of which, of course, is that we are well into the, 6th or 7th year now of Star Wars being back. So the little kid feelings that we felt when we saw that very first Force Awakens teaser trailer, not the Chewie We're Home one, but the very first one where you hear, "There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?" Right? And then Finn pops up into frame, you know, in the Stormtrooper outfit. That one, that was really exciting because we knew Han was back, we knew Leia was back, we knew Chewie was back, we knew Luke was back, right? So we were all like, oh my God, you know, are we gonna see them? What are we gonna see? Holy snap and crap, what the fuck, right? So that was really exciting. And then of course, the Chewie We're Home trailer just made 40-year-old men like me cry. And we're like, oh, right? They tapped into that fucking nostalgia. Fucking damn you, Disney. Anyway, so that was really exciting because there was so much nostalgic expectation surrounding it. Well, since then, we've had Rogue One, we've had Solo, we've had The Last Jedi. So, I mean, you know, the novelty's kind of worn off a bit. So, no matter how good this movie's going to be, that it's just not going to be there. But that doesn't mean that the trailer wasn't good, because it was, I thought, pretty good. Now, one of the first things I noticed when watching this trailer right away, like about 15, 20 seconds into the trailer, if that, was stylistically, cinematically, cinematography-wise, framing. It feels very much like this could, like, it feels like I'm watching a teaser trailer that is a direct sequel to The Force Awakens. And for me, that's a really good thing because I quite enjoyed The Force Awakens. And I did not enjoy The Last Jedi. I saw it once in the theater. I'm not going back to fucking pay to see that dog shit again. I don't own it on Blu-ray. I don't own it on DVD. I don't own it on 4K. I don't own it digitally. I don't own it because I don't want it. And I've often thought that if this 9th installment is actually quite good, I could totally see myself watching The Force Awakens and then leapfrogging over The Last Jedi and just watching, you know, The Rise of Skywalker, because why the fuck not? But anyway, so I noticed that continuity-wise, in terms of all that, it feels like a direct sequel, which for me is actually quite good. Because JJ obviously has his own cinematic style, and I actually quite like that. I think that's actually going to work in the film's favor, pending the film is actually quite good. So that was the first thing I noticed. Now, some of the shots, again, I'm not going to break down this trailer shot by shot. But some of the shots I really liked, of course, was just the whole 15, 20, 30-second opening where you get Rey in the desert with the lightsaber, Kylo Ren coming towards her, whipping across the it reminded me similar to the beginning of the Chewie We're Home teaser when you saw the Star Destroyer just fucking crashed into the desert sand and a little TIE fighter going along like this, and the Star Destroyer is there to give the TIE fighter some scale, and it's fucking amazing. So it kind of reminded me a bit of that. And then, of course, when he comes into frame and Rey is running and she does that flip, it's great. Like, looks fucking awesome. I can't wait to see how that unfolds. Like, what the fuck happens after that, right? So that's really cool. And then the rest of the shots were great. Like, love seeing Lando Calrissian in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Woo! Chewie, of course, is his co-pilot. That was fun. I mean, that didn't affect me as much as the Chewie We're Home moment. That had me tearing. I think I could watch that teaser trailer today and I would still tear up. There's just something about it. It's like, my God. And Harrison Ford's my favorite actor, has been my favorite actor ever since I was like 5. I used to go to school in pants that I would call my Han Solo pants. And they were just dark blue pants with like a red stripe down the side. They weren't officially Han Solo. I think they're like Adidas pants or something. But I called them my Han Solo pants. So big fan of Harrison Ford, my favorite actor of all time. And so that really affected me. But to see Lando in the cockpit was cool. It was cool. Definitely cool. Didn't get me in the feels, but it definitely, I was like, cute. Okay, cool. I mean, obviously, right? That's cool. That's fun to see. And I love the shot of Kylo Ren picking up that guy and smashing him down onto the ground. I love the look of whatever planet they're on or part of a planet they're on. Just that reddish sort of glow and hue over the entire aesthetic of wherever they are. Love that shit. Love the fact that he seems so angry and violent and powerful. He fucking slams him fucking on the ground like a WWE wrestler. Love that shit. Love the fact that he's now reconstructing his old helmet, or maybe it's a new helmet to look like his old one. And he's got all those red cracks and crevices and shit. Love that. And this is really important because one of the things that J.J. Abrams does is that he likes to put his own stamp on things, right? Like the C-3PO red arm. So whenever you see it, whether it's on a toy or in a magazine or somebody walking around doing cosplay, you'll know instantly, that's from that particular movie of that particular time and that particular time period, or whatever the case is. So J.J. Abrams likes to do that, but it also works to the character of Kylo Ren as well, because obviously in The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, he was still struggling with his emotions. He was slowly but surely, he was a little bit more set in his ways in TLJ than he was in TFA, but certainly he's always been struggling, because let's not forget, in TLJ, obviously he had the opportunity to kill his mother and he didn't. So he's always been struggling with that. So this to me could symbolize that he's now full blown gone. And he loved that helmet so much, which he destroyed, but he wants to create something in similar style as that helmet, but he wants it to stand out because he's not that Kylo Ren anymore. No, he's not that Kylo Ren anymore. He's this Kylo Ren now, right? He fucking means business. It looks badass. And all those red creases and crevices could, besides the fact that it looks fucking awesome, it actually, for the character, might hold meaning. Like, there might actually be meaning in those red cracks and creases that he's putting in there and fucking blowtorching the shit out of. Who knows? But that definitely, besides the fact that J.J. Abrams putting his own stamp on this movie again, I think it will definitely, obviously, translate into this character. It's part of his new identity now. He's not that Kylo Ren anymore. He's this Kylo Ren. And I like that shit. So I love that shot. All the other shots are great. Seeing Poe, seeing Finn, seeing the ships flying and the BB-8 and that new little droid. I forget his name now, but they mentioned it at Star Wars Celebration. Really cool, brilliant fucking marketing, Disney. You got to give credit where credit is due. And that is brilliant fucking marketing. I got a BB-8 there, which is remote controlled, and you can move it around. It does all the shit. It looks like I'm going to now have to pick up one of those little fucking new ones. Fuck Disney. What are you doing? Fuck. God, just take my money. Take it already. But it's cool, though. It's cool. A bit smaller than BB-8, but cool nonetheless. So I'm looking forward to seeing, and there's no doubt if it resonates well with the movie-going audience, it'll probably become another iconic droid. So that was a cool shot. Obviously, I was tipped off to that droid because obviously I watched a bit of the live feed in Chicago prior to the trailer. But like everything looks good. There isn't anything that I look at that doesn't look good. But this is a teaser trailer, and this is designed to give very little context and just give you the spectacle visually of what to expect, especially when we're talking about a Star Wars movie or some bombastic, blockbuster visual spectacle with a lot of heavy-duty visual effects. Obviously, a teaser trailer is just supposed to go, hey, look how good and shiny this thing looks. Don't you want to go for a ride in this new shiny, glitzy, expensive car? And if okay, yeah, okay, it does. And so it did its job. And then, of course, who doesn't love the final shot of the fucking trailer where you see remnants of the Death Star crashed into this planet, and you got Rey, and I think, is Poe and Finn there too? I'm not sure. She's there with a few people. So I'm hoping it's them as well, because one of the things that always bothered me about this trilogy, besides the second chapter, is we haven't yet seen them really together on a journey together. Like when it was announced that, Oscar Isaac, John Boyega and Daisy Ridley were the new kind of leads in the new Star Wars film, we just assume, that's kind of like our new Han, Luke, and Leia, right? Well, it is still kind of like that, but they've yet to be on any journey together, really. So J.J. Abrams pretty much confirmed during the panel that yes, in this movie, you are going to see them on a journey together. Now, whether that's for the whole movie or part of the movie, who knows? But at least we're going to see them actually on a journey together, because J.J. was very complimentary of their chemistry. So, and we've yet to really see that. We've seen the chemistry between Rey and Finn in The Force Awakens, but beyond that, we're not really, and the fucking abysmal chemistry between Rose and Finn in The Last Jedi was just fucking toxic. No disrespect to Kelly Marie Tran, is that her name? It has nothing to do with her as an actress. She was hired to do a job and directed to play a character a certain way. But in terms of the garbage. Anyway, so really exciting at the possibility of that dynamic, and that shot is just amazing, and what that means. They're looking out, seeing remnants of the Death Star. Is it Death Star 1? Is it Death Star 2? Which one is it? Right? Is it the first one because they're tying in and bringing it full circle to A New Hope? Is it the second Death Star because that was the movie where we actually saw Emperor Palpatine? I mean, I know we saw him briefly in Empire in terms of a hologram, but it wasn't until Return of the Jedi when we actually saw him on Death Star number 2. And of course, when the trailer ends, we hear Emperor Palpatine's laugh. All that shit, right? So it's kind of like, what the fuck is going on, right? I don't know. Crazy shit. Okay, now before I wrap this video up, I just want to say this. First of all, let's talk about Mark Hamill's dialogue. So he says at the very beginning, he says, we've passed on all we know. Okay, so what could that mean? Well, we know that the Rise of Skywalker takes place about a year, at least a year, maybe 2 years after TLJ. So we know that in that time, it was all but confirmed by Daisy Ridley during the celebration panel that in that time, she's been studying the Jedi texts and the books, right? Also, I think we can assume that in that time as well, she's not only been studying the text and the books, but she's probably been communicating with Luke. She might even be communicating with Yoda, maybe even Obi-Wan, right? So when you hear Luke say, we've, right? That's plural. We've passed on all we know. Okay, so now here we are a year and a half, 2 years later, whatever the case is, and Luke has said, we've passed on all we know. Now that voiceover isn't necessarily going to be in the movie, okay? It might just be giving the fans context, as little context as they can in a teaser trailer to let you know a little bit kind of what's going on. But don't be surprised if you actually don't hear this voiceover anywhere in the movie. Just be prepared for that, okay? But you could at the same time. So Lucas says we've passed on all we know. I take that as Luke, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, I don't know, whoever, maybe even Anakin, I don't know. We've passed on all we know to you. 1,000 generations lie in you now, right? So it's like, listen, we've taught you all we know. It's your time. This is your fight. And actually he goes on to say, but this is your fight, right? So that symbolizes to me that, we've taught you the ways of the Force. We've taught you what it's all about, the right, the wrong, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And now it's up to you to take what we've taught you and go out and, do what you got to do. And that can be a pretty intimidating thing, especially for a young scavenger who was just kind of thrust into it, right? So really cool. So we've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations lie in you now, but this is your fight. And then, of course, we see the text come up on the screen. It says, every generation has a legend. This Christmas, the saga will end, blah, blah, blah. And then at the very end of the trailer, we hear Luke say, "Will always be with you. No one's ever really gone." I think that was it, right? No one's ever really gone. And then it cuts to black and you hear Emperor Palpatine's voice. And because of the placement of that line, "No one's ever really gone," and then Emperor Palpatine's voice there, that, if you take it at face value, illustrates that, not only are we not gone, but neither is Emperor Palpatine. And of course, we know that Emperor Palpatine did learn how to cheat death. Okay, so we do know that little tidbit of information from Revenge of the Sith could make its way into the Rise of Skywalker, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that Palpatine himself will be a very prominent evil figure and foe in terms of physically actually being there. That laugh could also symbolize the overall undertone of what they're up against. Because he was because we never had the chance to really get to know Snoke and what he was capable of and who he was or where he comes from. I'm talking in terms of the movies now. Okay, because we really don't know who the fuck he was, how powerful he was or wasn't. As far as we know right now in the Star Wars saga, the most powerful in terms of the movies, I know there's other fucking shit that people are going to school me on in the comment section. But in terms of the 9 films, Palpatine has been arguably the most powerful. So he is like the benchmark. He's the bar in terms of the cinematic episodic films. So, he might not physically be there. It just might be that laugh to say that I'm still here, if you know what I mean, and the fight that they're up against. Now, I'm not saying that is what is going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's what it was. Maybe it would surprise you. It wouldn't surprise me. Do I think he's going to appear in this movie? Yes. Do I think he's going to be the main baddie that has to be taken out and taken down? I don't know, not necessarily, because I think the focus is going to be on Kylo Ren. But I definitely think that he could be in communication with Kylo Ren, right? There might be some hologram shit going on. Do you know what I'm saying? So there could be a bit of that there, but don't take that to mean that, Emperor Palpatine is back, he's in the chair, he's sitting up somewhere. Like, don't necessarily think that he's just fully on 100% back. Do you know what I mean? Take it with a grain of salt because of where the placement of that line and what it could mean sort of symbolically is what I'm trying to say. So just keep that in mind, but really cool nonetheless, right? Because he is the ultimate evil. He is the ultimate baddie. So it makes sense to have that laugh there. And obviously they don't want to have Darth Vader's breathing there. So now what does the Rise of Skywalker mean? Well, there's a couple theories I have. Maybe it could mean that, and I don't think it's going to mean this. Some people have speculated that it could mean that Rey is actually a Skywalker, and we're going to find out that Rey is a Skywalker in this movie, and that's what it means, the Rise of Skywalker. I don't think it's going to mean that. It could mean not resurrection, but the rise of Anakin Skywalker, perhaps. That's a possibility. Or something that I thought about that I've thought for a long time that I don't think it's going to be this because I don't think Disney has the balls to do it. Because they didn't have the balls to do it in The Last Jedi. In my opinion, Luke should have been, and still to this day, should be The Last Jedi. There should be no more Jedi as we know it. There can be an evolution of what we know, right? The next phase, but the Jedi as we know it must end because they were flawed, okay, in a lot of respects. And if the Sith are gone, then the Jedi needs to go as well. I really think Luke should be the last Jedi as we know it. And maybe Skywalker is not only the last name of Luke, but it's a name given to a new generation of Jedi, if you will, a new, there's Sith, there's Jedi, there's Skywalkers. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's even more intense and more in depth and more knowledgeable, because now you have the objective perspective of everything, and you become, it's like a higher rank than Jedi almost, if you know what I mean. I think that's really cool. Because obviously you still use the Force and you use the Force, but maybe with Skywalkers, it's that balance, right? It's that gray Jedi. It's that balance, because to truly be one step ahead of your enemies, to truly understand your enemies' moves, to have true balance, you have to understand both sides of the coin. That doesn't mean you use the other side of the coin, but you understand the other side of the coin. And when you understand the dark side or the dark side of the Force, you then can be one step ahead of your enemies, because you know possibly what your enemies are going to do, the moves they're going to make, or how they're going to implement certain things, because you're very knowledgeable of that side. Do you know what I mean? So maybe Skywalker is a new thing. I don't think that's going to be it, because I don't think Disney has the balls to do it, but I would love to see something like that, because I wanted Luke to be the last Jedi. It goes with what Yoda said as well. Gone when am I, the last of the Jedi you will be. Like that's powerful. And then when that second film was called The Last Jedi, I was like, oh yes, I love it. And then of course you get Luke going, everything you just said is wrong. I'm not going to be the last Jedi. And then, of course, they dissolve from his face into Rey's face. And it's like, oh, lame. Come on, man. Have some balls. Really lame. Really, really lame, in my opinion. Fucking hated that. Luke should have been the last Jedi. And Rey is the beginning of a new generation. Something new. And maybe that new is Skywalkers. And they call them Skywalkers in honor of Luke Skywalker, in honor of, maybe not necessarily of Anakin, because he was a real big bad guy for most of his life, but certainly in honor of Luke, in honor of that lineage, that generation, because of how much they're respected in the history of this galaxy and universe. And I think that's really cool. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think it would be really cool. So anyways, those are my first impression thoughts. Now, there's no doubt that once I watch the trailer another 7,979 times, I will probably see more details of things that maybe I'll want to talk about. But those are my first impression thoughts. I like the trailer. I thought it was solid, and in JJ I trust. And I see that and I go, okay, I don't know much about the story yet, but you have me very curious, very curious. So yeah, one step closer, and we'll see what happens. And the next thing to come out now will probably be the poster. And I think I have a feeling the poster is going to drop on May the 4th. That's when I think the poster is going to drop. Yeah. Don't hold me to it, of course, but it makes sense. We have a teaser trailer. We're a couple of weeks now away. Yeah, drop the poster on May the 4th. Why not? Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. What did you think of the first teaser trailer for Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker? What are your thoughts on the title, the name, The Rise of Skywalker? What do you think it could mean? Are you in line with me? Do you have something completely different? Comment below and let me know. I would love to know. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemccrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time when I'm not posting here. The links are in the description. Links to everything, my Patreon, my Twitter, my IMDb, my official website. It's all down there. Check it out if you want. So, yeah. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. The Rise of Skywalker. It's probably not what I'm hoping it is, because it's singular. But damn, that would be cool. I think, anyway. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.